I was on a long road trip for work, bouncing between small towns, and I booked a room at a modest highway hotel in rural Pennsylvania. The kind of place with flickering neon signs and a desk clerk who looks like he hasn't slept since the 90s. The lobby was dead quiet, the kind of quiet that makes your footsteps echo way too loud. The guy at the front desk, a pale man in a wrinkled polo, handed me my key without a word, just a grunt and a tired look. The walls were yellowing, and the carpet had weird, sticky patches that I tried not to step on. I checked in late just after midnight. Room 104, he said. The hallway to my room smelled like mildew and old cigarette smoke. When I reached room 104, the keycard worked fine. I expected darkness, but instead, a low yellow light glowed from the bedside lamp. The bed was made immaculately, but the sheets looked strange, too crisp, like they'd been tucked by someone who wasn't planning on ever pulling them back. And the shower was on. Maybe the room was double booked. Maybe the clerk screwed up. But I didn't hear anyone inside, just the constant hiss of water hitting tile. I froze. I picked up the phone and hit play. At first, I thought someone must still be in there. I called out, "Hello? Anyone in here?" The air in the hallway felt colder than it had seconds ago. Heavy, like a draft had just passed through me. I looked back into the room. No response, just the water. It just stopped, like someone had turned it off deliberately. I backed out into the hallway, ready to go back to the front desk, but something made me stop. Ran all the way down the hall and slammed my hands on the front desk bell like I was ringing for my life. I haven't seen daylight in 3 days. They don't want me to leave. The phone on the nightstand was blinking. One missed voicemail. "You sure?" "No, man. I gave you 204. Look." He turned the monitor toward me. My reservation clearly said room 204. We climbed the stairs to the second floor and went to room 204. It looked exactly like the room. I'd just been in same layout, same ugly bedspread, but cold, dark, and untouched. We don't. That room's closed. Renovation. Been blocked off for months. Room 104, I think. Police never found anything. Just his car still in the lot, and a voicemail that cut off mid-sentence. There was a scraping sound, like nails against drywall, and then he screamed, "I hear things in the walls." I haven't seen daylight in 3 days. They don't want me to leave. A long animal scream that cut off in a burst of static. I stepped back inside, trying not to look at the half-open bathroom door and the steam curling out of it like fingers. My curiosity got the better of me. The message started mid-sentence. "Not 104. I know what door I opened." It said 204 in faint, almost smeared ink. "If someone finds this, please, I don't know how to get out. I hear things in the walls." It was a man's voice. Panicked, whispering. I dropped the phone. My heart was thudding in my ears. I looked at the bed again, half expecting someone to suddenly sit up under the covers. Then the shower stopped. Not a fade, not a creak. They say sometimes people still hear the shower running in that room, even though there's no plumbing anymore. They gutted it. No number, no timestamp. I didn't wait. I bolted. The clerk finally emerged from a back room, looking confused and annoyed. "You said 104, right?" I asked, trying to steady my voice. He squinted at his computer. I stared at him. "I was just in it. You gave me the key." He shook his head slowly. I reached into my pocket to show him the key. The label was different now. I know what I saw. I insisted he come with me, and after a lot of arguing, he agreed mostly to shut me up, I think. I didn't sleep much that night. Every creak in the walls made me flinch. I left before sunrise. She gave me a weird look. There was this guy years back who vanished while staying there. On my way out, I stopped at a gas station nearby and asked the cashier if she knew anything about the hotel. "People say it's haunted," she said. She smiled nervously. I didn't respond. I just thanked her and left. Later that night, in another town, another hotel, I went to charge my phone and noticed I had a new voicemail. It was the same message, word for word. "Please, I don't know how to get out." Only this time, right before it cut off, I heard one last thing. A whisper, so faint I had to replay it over and over. Now you know. I was staying at a mid-tier hotel in upstate New York for a conference, one of those chain places that all blur together. Beige carpets, outdated artwork, the faint smell of cleaning chemicals, and old air conditioning. Nothing fancy, but clean enough. Still, after a long day of meetings and forced small talk, I was just glad to be alone. The bathroom mirror had a delay. I'd raise my arm, and for the briefest moment, maybe half a second, my reflection wouldn't follow. The lighting was dim and uneven, and the mirror was old, its edges flaking with spots of discoloration. Maybe my eyes were playing tricks, like a lag in a video call. I stood there, shirtless, watching myself breathe in the settling condensation. Maybe I was just exhausted, noticeable. I raised an eyebrow, and again, there was that split-second lag. Only this time, it was longer. I smiled awkwardly at myself, like an idiot trying to catch a glitch, and for a split moment, my reflection didn't smile back. My room was on the 3rd floor. It was a little colder than I expected, even with the heater on. The first night, I noticed something strange while brushing my teeth. I figured I was just tired. I stepped out, wiped it down with my towel, and looked into the glass, but it kept happening. The next night, after a long shower, I wiped the fog off the mirror with my hand. Then, slowly, something began to appear in the condensation behind the glass. I remember freezing, toothbrush still in hand, heart starting to beat faster, but just as quickly, it corrected itself. I blamed my imagination, but every night, the delay grew more obvious. I'd wave, and my reflection would stand still, then catch up slowly, stiffly. When I wiped it, my reflection was back, just staring, perfectly still, as if it was watching me first, deciding how to respond. The writing smudged and vanished almost instantly, but I saw it. I know I saw it. I tried mentioning it at the front desk the next morning, making it sound like a joke. By the 3rd night, the mirror was lagging by full seconds. I stood frozen in front of the mirror, staring at my unmoving double. Then, with a horrible lurch in my stomach, I watched it slowly raise its hand and wave. "Think your bathroom mirror's haunted," I said to the woman at the counter, chuckling nervously. She didn't laugh, just stared for a second too long, then mumbled something about maintenance looking into it. I figured it was over. He quickly changed the subject and told me not to worry, probably just a mix-up. That night, I showered later than usual. The hotel was dead quiet, no footsteps above me, no murmurs through the walls, just the steady hum of the bathroom fan. When I finally went to the bathroom, everything looked normal again, until I stepped back from the sink. Around 1 a.m., I got moved to the 2nd floor, opposite end of the building. I let the steam fill the room. The mirror was completely fogged. My reflection was gone. Not foggy, not delayed, just gone. Like the mirror was a window into a pitch-black room instead of showing me. But they insisted. Someone had seen me go back in. Said I'd been standing at the window. Not much, maybe half a second. Just enough to notice. I leaned closer, heart pounding, goosebumps rising on my arms despite the heat. Letters, written from the other side. "You aren't alone." I stumbled back, crashing into the sink. I grabbed my phone and tried to take a picture, but the mirror was fogged again, just like before. Too still. It didn't move when I tilted my head. Didn't blink when I did. I hadn't moved. That was enough. I threw on clothes and left the bathroom. Slept with the lights on that night, if you can call it sleep. The next morning, I demanded a new room. The guy at the desk, different person this time, looked surprised but didn't argue. For the first time since arriving, I felt some relief. The new room's mirror was normal. My reflection matched my movements perfectly, until I got a call from the front desk that evening. They asked why I'd returned to my old room. I hadn't. I told them I'd been out getting dinner. I asked if they could check the security footage. The man on the phone paused, then said there was no camera facing that side of the hallway. That night, I locked the door, double-checked every latch and bolt. There, written faintly in the condensation, were more words. I follow mirrors. And below it, like it had been etched with a fingertip, see you at home. I haven't stayed in a hotel since. But here's the worst part. 2 days after I got back, I was brushing my teeth in my own apartment. Familiar bathroom, clean mirror, nothing weird. Then I noticed it, a slight delay. And behind the glass, in the fog creeping up from the hot shower, a single word, "Hi."